in, and we'll get on to that game in just a tick, Gary, but I have to ask you about Manchester City. What is happening?
Well, they're giving all the rest of them encouragement, and obviously Liverpool are capitalising upon that, but Arsenal have to look at that particularly today, I think, and say that they were the ones that were looking most likely to take them on for the title at the start of the season, and they've got a goal for them now. I mean, they're not themselves. They've obviously got injuries. Brighton were outstanding in that second half, but there's just a little bit of something missing at City at the moment. Even Pep in his press conferences looks a little deflated, a little dejected, and you just wonder whether, maybe too early to say this, and I've got a little bit of a smirk on my face because they'll probably win the league by 15 points, but the idea it may just be coming to an end, this team. He might actually have to rebuild it, or someone else may have to rebuild it.
Yeah, that's interesting. All his words, though, after the game yesterday was, "I'm here to stay," even though he hasn't actually fully confirmed an extension to his contract. Let's talk about Arsenal then. In the game today, based on their own form, the pressure is on them, it seems, over Chelsea, but also, as you mentioned, now Liverpool in the mix as well. As I said at the top of the show, Gary, Arsenal have waited years for City to have a blip. They have to capitalise on it, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I think Arsenal themselves obviously had a few injuries over the last few weeks, but this idea that Ødegaard doesn't play and they've lost the creativity through the whole squad is not good enough for a squad that's been expensively compiled like this one has. So for me, I actually thought the game against Inter Milan in the midweek in Champions League, I thought there were a lot of very good things. I thought the way in which they sustained attacks, the way in which they obviously recycled possession, but it's quite obvious they're making, I think they had something like 48 crosses or 46 crosses in that game in midweek against Inter Milan. They were crossing too early from too wide an area. Usually they play their way in, they sort of probe and they play that ball into pockets where Ødegaard is, and then he'll slide balls down the side. They've lost that in the last few weeks, but you can't just lose one player and lose everything. You know, City have been without Rodri, they've been without De Bruyne. Liverpool have got injuries as well. Alisson's not in goal. So, you know, these sorts of squads have to cope with it. But Arsenal today, I think that there is a pressure building on them, because with Edu leaving earlier on in the week, there's questions starting to be asked, and obviously the form's not been very good, but there's no excuses. They've got Ødegaard back, we believe, today, and they've got to go and win this game, because I didn't think Chelsea last week at Old Trafford, I thought they were quite disappointed in that game against United.
Yeah, they were, and Cole Palmer was quiet. He may or may not be fit today. You just said you can't lose one player and lose everything, but without Palmer, Chelsea being at the level they are right now, they lose a lot, Gary.
They do lose a lot. I mean, he's the player who's been involved in most goals and assists this season. He creates the most chances. He's an exceptional player. And I'm not saying that losing your best player doesn't harm you. It does, but it can't all fall apart if you lose your best player. For Chelsea, they're in a different moment than Arsenal. Arsenal are a mature team that have been through title chases and run-ins for the last couple of years. Chelsea are progressing and building with the youngest squad in the league. So slightly, you know, more credit for them, a little bit more sort of leeway, if you like. And Cole Palmer not playing today would be devastating for them, but would actually heap even more pressure on Arsenal.
Enjoy the game, Gary, and enjoy the international break. We'll speak to you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Gary Neville joining us there.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And if you want even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.